Hey, what is going on? IK Familia, it is your boy BN. We are back again. Here we go, Mr. Kingdom Builder, ready to give you guys finally our last Lightning Immortal for their most used ToK skills before we move on to the next element, which is exciting because we are so close and almost done. It's been a while. Alright, today, El Cid. I wouldn't say my Luscious Locks lands. I would say Rico Suave Cid is how I'm going to say him, and we'll show you his picture shortly. These are, again, his most used ToK skills. Now, with El Cid, in this case, we were only able to pull about 23. We went up to about server 60 for this and just realized that the amount of people that we were finding at 160k troop power and above was just lessening and lessening as we kept going up. So at that point, that's kind of our threshold for where we go. And we were still able to get 23 players at 160k or above. So again, it's not that bad. It's a little more than half, which is nice. So let's go ahead and dive into Mr. El Cid here, starting with his number 3 most used skill on the list, which was Assist, used 8 times. Number 2, Shelter, used 10 times. And then the number 1 most used ToK skill, Resist, used 11 times. So smaller numbers, a little more spread out, even though we have a smaller data pool to go off of. Right, still at least giving you a small sample size for his 3 most used skills that we have at the moment. Now let's transition and go and show you my boy Rico Suave Cid. Here, let's start off with his skill. Conquest reduces the physical damage inflicted on your front row troop by 9%. This goes up to 30% for reduced damage, and when they are targeted by normal attacks, there's a 65% chance of inflicting physical damage on the enemy. That damage rate is 30% up to 100%, right? So when they're targeted by a normal attack, there's a 65% chance of inflicting physical damage, right? It's almost kind of like a recoil. Gosh, what's that Pokemon move? It's like Double Edge or something like that, where it's like it does damage, but then there's a chance of having some of that damage reflected back to you. So kind of like that, but just the move does it from the attacker's standpoint, or the enemy's attacks standpoint. And then again, right, you have the nice reduces the physical damage inflicted on your front row, right? So that's nice as well. So not only do you get reduced damage, but you have a chance to do recoil damage when you are attacked as well. Alright, now let's look at El Cid's stats. Strength 22, Intelligence 19. Since I haven't leveled him up, again, you can lean here that physical attack is probably going to be the high point, followed by magic defense, phys defense, and then magic attack, right? At least until we level him. Well, I should say until we unlock and then level. But so far, we can at least make that assessment thus far. Now, here we go. Let's start with Assist for the number 3 most used skill, and that should be the shield, not the Oaken Shield. Every 10 seconds after battle starts, assist 1 random back row allied troop by transferring all of their received damage to you, and reduces the damage you receive by 7.5% up to 25% for 6 seconds. Right, so every 10 seconds after the battle starts, right, which would mean the first time this could proc, based on how this is reading to me, would be at the 10-second mark. It will assist 1 random back row ally, so one of your support or one of your archers, by transferring all of their all the damage that one of your troops in the back row receive to you, right? And so again, kind of almost like a lifelink situation here that you're seeing with assist. But again, right, this is one of those things where you're hoping that you're going to have high defense stats to complement, or a shield of some sort in order to take a little bit more advantage of assist. But given that we're seeing it used a few times on El Cid so far from our data pool, I think this should be okay, at least without leveling El Cid, to see what some of his base stats look like. Then next we have Shelter, which is the... oh gosh, where's my Shelter? Nope, that's Resists. I'm going to find it. I bet you I just passed it. It's at the top. Here we go. Protects all units on the same side within range with a 50% chance of restoring HP if they sustain damage, right? So this is more of your universal skill. You don't necessarily need to use it on any one specific immortal, but more likely the immortal that you're putting this on would be one in which you don't really have an opportunity to put a specific advantageous skill on that plays into their stats. Then next we're going to look at resist, and this is the ball with the curvy waves going around through the leaves, if you will. During battle, 3 of your random allied troops will receive negative 15% damage. This goes up to 50% reduced magical damage for 18 seconds. Right, so 3 of your random allied troops will receive 50% reduced magical damage for 18 seconds. Right, so again, this is just more of one of those universal skills. It's not too specific in this case to El Cid. And based on if they're running this to try and get some magic damage reduction outside of other physical damage reduction skills they're using, right, I think resist is an okay play here. It looks like more or less from what I'm seeing that a lot of players, or some of these players, are using El Cid as kind of like their universal flex pick immortal, where they've used a lot of the more specific skills on other immortals in their lightning lineup, and they're kind of using El Cid to fill in some of those universal skills. So again, don't see anything wrong with that, as that can happen depending on how many skills you have unlocked, what you have leveled, and then if you feel like you want to branch out with just one march, are you trying to split some of the epic skills across 2 marches? That also plays a factor once you start getting a little bit towards later game. But outside of that, again, I think these top 3 most used skills, at least 1 out of the 3 do make a little more sense specifically for El Cid, outside of the other 2 being more universal. Let me know what you guys think in those comments down below. Do you like these top 3 skills being used on El Cid? Do you find that there's other skills that you would favor running on El Cid, and then you would use some of these universals on other immortals in your lightning lineup? Or vice versa, right? Let me know anything you guys are thinking again in those comments below. That is it for me. We have finally wrapped up our lightning immortal composition most used ToK skill series here for this element type. Man, hopefully fire is going to be so much easier. That is it for us. Until next time, as always, we'll catch y'all later.